So yeah, I need to see you work there. So you know.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, hey, hey. What's good? What's good?
Hello, beautiful people.
We're going to let this jam roll on out while we allow everyone to come in.
Yes. Come on in with your bop.
Come on in.
Your bop.
Hey,
Your bop.
hey.
Your bop. 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 Okay.
Maybe we'll do it like this. Yes.
So this is an awesome, awesome Thursday.
Yes.
We had a pretty good day,
Yes, we
didn't we?
did. Yes, we did.
Productive.
Yes. A lot going on.
A lot going on.
Yes, yes. We're going to let that as we get introduce yourself when you come in.
So they couldn't see me bopping.
No, they couldn't see you bopping.
Okay,
They
y'all
were
couldn't see
saying
me
you was bopping.
bopping. Bop, bop, bop. Yes. Come on, stop on by. Join us tonight. Enjoy the music.
Yes. All right. All right. All right. Let's turn this on off right here. Welcome, 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 good people. Announce
Yes.
yourself in that old chat.
We'd love to see you.
Okay. If you on my
If you
regular
are,
Facebook
yes.
page, I'm not seeing your comments right now. Maybe if I go to
Let me see.
Facebook right here, I can see your comments. I can't see you come in. Mm-hmm. You know,
So,
refresh.
okay.
Mm-hmm. Or you can go to my page and pull it over.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, good people, good people. It is your country boy,
And your city girl,
Eric
Andy Lane.
of E Squared.
Yes.
All right, we here with another installment of the relationship wellness. I'm sorry,
Mm.
healthy
Healthy. Heal
heal
Thy
thy
relationship
relationship
series.
series. Yes.
Yes.
All
So we want to
right.
welcome you,
Yeah.
welcome you, welcome you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We appreciate you stopping by to just kind of hang with us a bit.
Yes.
And y'all know how you do. When you
Mhm.
get you something to drink, right? Get you a little
Yes.
cup of tea. You know, it's time to wind down. So bring it, get you some chamomile, you know, something that's going to help you, you know, kind of wind down, some lavender,
Yes.
whatever you need. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, we've been having some water and lemon water here lately. But come on in and join us.
And join us tonight. You heard about the um, you see the title is regarding the uh, you know suicide in your relationship. Okay. Um,
So that's basically how suicide can affect
mhm,
relationships.
mhm. There's a lot of different ways. We're going to get into that tonight. Um, also, we wanted to uh, give you some resources.
Absolutely.
Give you some resources on this matter
Hmm.
because it is something that is happening. Your mental health
Hmm.
is key. You know, you need
Yes.
to know what's going on with your mental health.
Hmm.
Just make sure my sound is good. Can I get a one in the chat if my sound is good?
Can y'all hear us?
All right,
Let's
make
see.
sure my sound is good.
Hmm. Give us
All
a
right,
moment to
and the
check
video.
in. Uh, and make sure everything is,
Copacetic.
yes, copacetic.
Yes. Pastor Douglas would say.
Mm.
Copacetic. All right. I think we're good on sound.
Yes. So if we are good, see, then we want you to let us know. Uh,
Do we need to speak up? All right, we'll speak up.
so I might need to not be in my sultry
Yes,
voice,
in your
right? My
sultry,
uh-huh.
situational voice. All right.
Yes. Hey,
Hey, what's up, Rodney?
Rodney.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, yes.
Rodney says, I'm earning my master's in clinical mental health counseling. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, 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 sir.
One issue is the racist history we've had. I might need my lookers, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Y'all don't talk about me. We've had with the system. All right, specifically with mental health. Yes, no trust. And ain't nobody looking like us in that helping chair, that helps
Health
chair.
share.
I got you.
That makes a
It
difference.
does make a difference. And you know what? This topic, of course, is not a glamorous topic. We do realize, but suicide is something that it's one which families of faith, I believe, we have to do better. And so we definitely want to not have this such a taboo subject because we're seeing more and more of mental health being something that we need to also address. So if you can hear us, let us know. Give us a thumbs up or type a one in the chat if you can hear us all right. And we will appreciate it
Yes, yes, yes.
because we
All
want to
right.
make
We
sure that y'all
make sure
can
we get
hear.
this. I know this is not a fun topic. Over here we like to laugh. So anyway, let's go ahead and
Okay. We
get
can,
into it.
they can hear us.
Everything is well.
All right.
All
Thank you, moderators.
right then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all right. Uh, now there was, here there's been three.
Wait, Kelly says I'm here too. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly, we didn't see you.
Yes.
I don't see the comments from.
I gotta
Oh, there
pull
we
it
go.
up
There
over
we go.
here.
She's there.
Yes. Hey, that's my
Yes.
sis right there.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Miss you guys. Miss you guys. You too,
Yes.
Rodney. You too.
I got your back, bro. I got your back. You see how they do.
Yes, yes, yes. But yes, so we're going in tonight. And so we're talking about suicide in our relationships.
Yes.
Why are we talking about this tonight?
Well, we had some high profile um, situations to occur. There's been three, and as we mentioned on the last week, we said that don't follow the celebrities because one, they have a different life all their own. Have your own life, right?
Yeah.
And two, we know that the power that media has over our population. I mean, because how many people are got names of whatever the celebrity was the hottest at that time.
Don't get Rodney started because he went in last week.
Yeah, right. baby name Alizé.
Oh my goodness.
Teacher he get to school. Teacher say Alizé, Elise.
Yeah.
Alizé, baby. My name is Alizé. My mama named me Alizé. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have these things going on in our community. So when we see folks like Miss America,
Miss USA.
Miss USA, that's right. Cheslie Kryst, 30 years old, passed away. Then we have another brother from The Walking Dead pass away. And then we have, Regina King,
Yeah.
my childhood crush. I think it was the light eyes. Anyway,
Really?
everybody was tripping over light eyes, hazel eyes back then.
Yes.
Okay,
Mostly the guys, mostly the little young-minded men
oh, okay,
were, but yeah.
okay, little shade, little sensitive subject right there.
Because I
Anyway,
wanted hazel eyes.
right,
I wanted Regina King's eyes.
yes.
But yes.
But her son, her only son passed away. And we've had
Mm.
some recent situations close to home
Yeah,
on two fronts where
absolutely.
we've had some people pass away
Hmm.
um,
Close
by
friends of
suicide.
ours, and yeah, so we were also, touched in just witnessing the process, right? The
Hmm.
process of grief, and many times you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do, and it's a hard, situation for all, but especially when it's not, it's not something like what Rodney is saying, where it's not addressed, right? And
Hmm.
so mental health, and what I can applaud the family that's friends of ours, is they decided to do something, put their effort, toward the mental health, um, you know and with suicide, and how to be able to recognize and really be able to talk about this
Be
subject.
proactive,
Yes.
regarding the subject.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now, according to the statistics,
Yeah.
you
And
have.
before we go on, I
I'm
want to
sorry. Go
thank my
ahead.
sister. This was impressed upon us. She sent a video. My sister, Miss Melton. So I
Yes,
want to
Kendall.
thank her for she's always sending us stuff, and my other sister, uh, my real sister, other sister. But yeah, so we appreciate it when
Sister
you
from
guys
another
send us
mister.
things so that we can be informed, and we can inform others.
Yes, especially as it pertains to, we stand our lane as it pertains to our
All
relationships,
things relationships.
hands down.
Absolutely.
So, all right, um, there's a couple of things that um, we're going to look at tonight. Um, there is um, there is a narrative that's going on. We want to make the difference between the narrative that's happening
Mm.
as well. You're going to see later on tonight, we're going to talk about the statistics regarding
Mm.
African Americans,
Yeah.
Negroes. Um, you know, we have a special situation where uh, suicide was not our thing.
Yeah.
Suicide was not our thing. The Office of Health and Human Services, they had statistics from the 90s to the 2000s,
Mhm.
that showed that we were the least likely to um, uh, die by suicide.
Mhm.
Shalom, Linda.
Hello, Shalom,
Yes.
Linda. Beautiful.
So, yes, we were the least likely to commit suicide, so on and so forth. So, um,
But
you
that
know,
seems to be changing.
yes, that's changing. The numbers are going up.
Hmm.
However, they're going up across the board.
Mm.
They're not just going up,
Yeah, you're right.
in the minority community.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and and not to just belabor that point as far as the racial differences, and to look at the narrative that is um, that goes along with this.
Okay.
Um, However, it is sad that our young people are um, being impacted way more um,
Yeah.
now than what they've ever been in historically,
Hmm. Hmm.
African American and the Latino community.
That's
So,
so true, because
um,
I mean, the rate of suicide amongst Americans has risen at the rate of over 41% within the last decade, and that's a huge problem. And so that's something that's deserving of conversations, of dialogue,
yes,
of addressing. And so, yeah, we want to make for sure that we are being attentive to this topic, and more so being attentive to one another,
hands down.
because this is something that we all are affected by. And I love the way you always say, my driveway, reaches your driveway.
Yep. My driveway ends at yours.
We're all connected.
So
Mhm.
being that we're all connected, we are in this all together.
Mhm.
And we want to be there for one another. Okay. Um, so those that are left behind, whenever a suicide occurs, those that are left behind um, are. I mean, the impact is not a single event.
Right.
Hey, Colin, it's not a single event. It's more than one time. It just doesn't happen. Mark and Dee, what's up, good people?
Hello, beautiful
Um,
people.
yes, um, I remember. So when I was a youth, I was 13 years old in eighth grade. I had a kid. A guy told me. He told me that he was going to kill himself, and I didn't know how to deal with that. How do you respond to that?
Right.
You know, um, but I did. And that made me feel away, made me think on some things.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently? What could I have said to him to stop him? How can I felt that fault
Yeah.
in some situations. And what's interesting, I was dealing with that in silence. My mother and sister. This is the well, not the first time that they've heard this before, but at that time they didn't know I was dealing with that.
Wow.
It was a lot going on.
So you carried that.
13, yes,
Yeah.
because we had quite a few deaths in the family. But to see somebody your age, now I didn't go to the funeral or anything. We weren't, tight like that.
Yeah.
But just the fact that somebody shared something with me like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I was powerless to do anything,
Yeah.
to assist them.
Well,
or whatever.
and that goes along with many times we're just not equipped,
Right.
and so that's why, we want to bring this out, we want to not allow for this to just be something that, is not dealt with.
Right. Because, like I said, the impact it is like a ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
So the my friend, he impacted the whole school because there were kids in his class that knew him better than I did. Just imagining that, but imagine the
Yeah.
mother in the situation, the father in the situation, whether they were together or not. That it just continues to reverberate throughout the community as a whole.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
When you think about if a partner chooses to take their life. Just recently I just saw on Facebook a family member who's the father of her child chose to take his life. And, this is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense
Yeah.
how this all happens
Mm-hmm.
and everything. So here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We are having to choose to do something different.
Yeah.
And begin to talk about these things.
Mm-hmm.
The divorce rate is high when someone does that, when someone is in a marriage,
Yeah.
and they lose a child because it's a challenge.
Yeah. You don't know how to deal.
Yeah. Sometimes the blame game comes up. Maybe if you would have spent more time with him, or maybe if you would have spent more time with her.
Yeah.
How did we miss this? Feeling inadequate on both levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
Feeling inadequate on both parts and everything. So
absolutely,
here we are.
Yeah. And I think the losses that our community and our world is experiencing, that's taking place, and it's like we're experiencing these things, but we're experiencing them more than the dialogue is being had.
Right.
And so we've got to, it's like we're playing catch up, with what's happening around us. And so, let's talk about what we can do, differently. Let's talk about what we can learn. from our loved ones around
Hmm.
us. Let's talk about, how we can actually, you know, uh, turn to different agencies and
Hmm.
different professionals, right?
Hmm.
Such as, our friend Rodney,
Hmm.
and these are certain things that we must do, because doing so will literally save lives.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And so we're moving from a pandemic to the the pressure of people feeling like, I want some sense of normalcy,
Hmm.
right? And one lesson I think may be that communication and mental health go hand in hand.
Go hand in hand.
We can't have one without the other.
Can't have one without the other. Hands down. So we have some resources on the YouTube page, on the YouTube channel. Before I go there, this is interesting because here it is. Kelly mentioned that she knows someone
Mm.
also um, recently impacted by suicide, and Mark and D said recently happened to a brother
Wow.
in Christ. So yeah, this is interesting, y'all.
Yeah, and then, how about our places of worship and
Hmm.
faith, right? Are, how many are really taking out the time to address these issues, right? To talk about it. Because, Mark and D said a brother in Christ, or,
Hmm.
and so this is something that we have got to be able to bring attention to, bring an awareness
Yes,
to. And that's something uh I think that's our responsibility as a whole.
hands down.
Yeah.
So we have some resources online, some things before you get there.
Hmm.
Okay, before you get to a place, if you're having negative thoughts and so on and so forth,
Yeah.
then go in and check out some of the things that are available to you.
Hmm. Hmm.
We have a couple of videos online where you can uh, uh, go and check out. We have the um, six hidden connection secrets,
Hmm.
so you can connect in those simple moments.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, when
Connect as a
someone, yeah,
couple.
connect as a couple, connect with your children,
Yes.
because some of these things are, so everything is not intimate when you're talking about connection,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Some of these things are transferable
Yes,
skills,
it is.
transfer over into other relationships.
Absolutely.
So that was something that a gentleman said on one the video that Kendra sent. This brother was saying how his son would come up while he's working and say, "Hey, hey, pop, and you got a moment?" And the dad would say, "Well, I'm kind of working on this. This is really important." And what was driving him crazy was the fact that, hey, was that a time that he was trying to reach out to me about something that
Hmm.
was bothering him, or what?
Yeah, yeah, and that is something that will haunt, all of us. I mean, we even have to speak on, this was several years ago, what, maybe about nearly 10 years ago, where our
Hmm.
neighbor across the street
Yes,
also
yes.
committed suicide. And so we watched again the family grieve, and it was then at that point where, you see how our faith, right, our faith is what pulls us through. And I want to make sure that I put this, plug in here, that, we have the confession of many people of faith that says how even during this time there is a spirit of heaviness
Yes.
that we have to, really say, what, I feel this.
Hmm.
There's so much going on in our world. There's so much happening. There's so much that we can talk for days on end about, that are negative, and that's draining.
Hmm.
And so many people are saying that they're sensing the spirit of heaviness.
Hmm.
And this is something that we have to say is more spiritual than it is, because everything that we see that happens in the natural, we know that it first comes from the spiritual, right?
Yes.
And so we don't want to ever try and address something that is only by the natural means, but we need all,
Yes. Yes.
all to come, together, and to work hand in hand, the professionals, the medication, as well as we need to go, and I mean, spiritual, where we are praying and we are covering one another and covering one another in our household.
Hands down.
I think that's something that the pandemic, really, when it first happened, it was a call, to a clarion call, to really hone in on what is happening on the inside of our homes.
Hmm.
And that is what I think is we're seeing now the effects of.
Right. We can take for granted the people that are right around us, thinking that they think like us. They, you know, really not realizing that you could live in the same house and have all different experiences
Yeah,
within that same house. Okay.
absolutely.
So, Mark and Dee just mentioned to stop and call people. That's something that I began to do since before the pandemic.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
lost my dad, when I started thinking about people, when a person came to mind, I called them then. I call or text them then.
Yeah.
Just to be able to just keep a connection. You never know what you've got to say or what can be said
That's right.
to a person when they, when something, when it comes up.
Yeah.
They for every. I won't say everybody want to know that somebody is thinking about them, but because introverts sometimes they can just move on.
There's such a rich inner world.
There's a rich inner world, but also they pick up where they left off. I got to give that to Elaine. All of her friends, they can go years without talking to each other, but when they get together,
it's like we've never been apart.
Like we've never been apart.
Absolutely.
So, but yes, take that time to reach out and call.
Yes, yes. And Kelly says she's worked in her postmasters in mental health for over 17 years. Yes, ma'am. Oh, so both of y'all, come on.
They clicking.
Yes. And she says it doesn't make me a perfect professional. We understand, but she says as a Mora, she just want to help people heal. Yes, Kelly. Yes.
And that's why this is HealTHY relationship series.
Yes, praying for my house and yours. Absolutely.
Hands down. All of us have to do that. I shared about a time when I was down in 2017. It was like that was a funeral bowl. I mean, I was at a funeral almost. It felt like every month I was at a funeral. And this wasn't family, friends. These was family.
Yeah.
Everybody was family.
Yeah.
And
we have to, talk about how that affected our relationship.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest years for us as well, because Eric was grieving, but many times we grieve in different ways. And so, there were times when he was so forgetful and,
didn't even know that
was
a symptom of grief.
Absolutely. And so I'm watching, and I'm watching him, and we're having, to teach workshops, and we had gone 3 different times back home and to the facility, back home and to the facility, until we went to a training and they talked about some of the not byproducts, but some of the symptoms of grief, and forgetfulness was one, right?
Well, Elaine busted me out the water when the woman put the slide up of all the symptoms. She said out loud, "That's you, that's you, that's you, that's you, that's you, and that's you, Eric. That's you too."
So, maybe I could have been a little more, I don't know.
A little discreet.
A little more savvy, a little more discreet. But
I couldn't help but agree.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I'm going around, to being absent in the body is to be in the presence of the Lord.
Yes. Mark and Dee says she's empathetic as well. That's right. Yes. That's my fam right there.
Yeah. So y'all's coming to our rescue.
Yes. Because they know I'm right.
I'm going strong. But no, it was really impacting my life. Because not only was it impacting the relationship between me and Elaine, I'm forgetting stuff. That's impacting my work, right? That's impacting our wallet. because that was 36 miles round trip 4 times
Okay.
in one day
Say it again for the
in
people in the
Houston.
balcony as well as the back.
In Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia the Sanger Harris. How are
All
you doing,
right, all
ma'am?
right, Sylvia.
Yes, yes. So,
But it was a difficult, challenging time, and so
yes,
that's what we want to speak to is, the difficulty in, when this is something that is increasing, and it's an increasing factor amongst, those who look like us,
right.
right? And like what you said earlier, when we were kids, you know, it was something that we rarely ever heard of. But like you said, you experienced it.
Mhm.
But for me, I grew up where in Third Ward, on the good side, next door to the Washington. That like you got in trouble or what have you, but it was a rarity. But now here it is, 30 years later, or for me, 25, maybe 20 years later. But you know,
Mhm.
but there's an uptick the way that it
It
is.
is.
And so, we want to make for sure that these are things that are not taboo topics anymore. Like when we don't, y'all know how sometimes we don't talk about life insurance, we don't talk about wills, and we don't want to talk about health, right? We don't want to talk about the suicide, but I think we're discovering that we must.
Hands down.
It is a must that we talk about some of these difficult topics that many times we grew up in families that we just didn't.
Mhm.
But this is important.
Very important. One of the things, and we're gonna give you these resources right quick. All right. So this is one of the resources. Let's see here. Let me change my tab here. Let me go back to share here.
Um,
All right. So the first,
it was
the
showing,
first
but
one.
now it's not showing. Were you sharing?
Yeah. Well, I took it back.
Okay.
So now I'm sharing there. Okay. So this first. Oh, I guess I got to go back here too.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a little slow.
All right. So this first one is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
AFSP.org.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I love this website, this resource, because it's dealing with if you've struggled with suicide yourself, thoughts of suicide, or if it's a loved one like a spouse or a child. There, this is where you can go to help one another to heal, as Kelly said, right? You hear about personal experiences of people that are right in your, in your city, in your state, or what have you, and you can actually connect with them, and
Yes.
they really deal with that well.
That's right. And then the next, let's see how I can go to that next one. All right. So the next one is the Suicide Prevention Resource Center. Okay. Now, all of these links are in the description, so you'll be able to see in the description. All of these resources are here. Right here is where I want to share the about regarding the narrative. Let me go back to that. Let me share regarding the narrative. Okay. So according to this narrative that about the uptick um, in amongst the
The rates of
Negro
suicide.
community, yeah,
Mhm.
the rates of suicide from 2010 to 2019. You can see here that we're at 7.4 per 100,000. Okay, 7.4 of 100,000, which is half that of the 13.2 per 100,000. the U.S. overall, right? Which is half that. Then, as you can see here, again, we're not anywhere close to the highs of the national average. All right. Now, 30 years from 15 to 45, we're struggling pretty bad. Those are our highest numbers.
Mhm.
But as you can see, the older we get, the less likely that we choose to um, choose to
Harm ourselves.
harm ourselves. Okay. And then as far as male to female, now here, as you can see, why would you say that um, black women are less likely to commit suicide?
Mhm.
What do y'all think in the chat? Why it is that Negro women do not uh,
Or
commit
less
suicide, or
likely
less
to.
likely to commit suicide
Mm.
than men are. Now we know it could be, this piece for the male could be a little skewed, especially when we know that sometimes it's listed that they are suicides when they're really not.
Mhm.
But that is a subject for other days. Do I have any questions any things in the comments on why women are less likely?
And let me refresh.
Okay. Well, what would you say, Lane?
Well, I mean, I think, of course, our children, like, our children we will give our lives for
Mm-hmm.
our children,
Mm-hmm.
and give our lives and our last,
Mm-hmm.
and so I think for women overall, that's something that we kind of don't put. We won't put. Many times there's struggles with the woman. Even making sure that whole thing with I put my children first or my man.
Right.
And
Right.
so yeah, there's a loyalty
Mm-hmm.
that motherhood brings.
Okay. So Mark and D say ancestors and say physiological makeup. Share a little bit more on the physiological makeup.
They said ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's deep. And
The instruments of used to commit suicide differ among
mm,
genders. Share with the difference there, Rodney.
yeah, because see, I would have thought that too. Um, okay, but sometimes I'm wondering, even with
Males have a different chemistry. Okay.
yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But I would think that some of the ways that many are choosing death, jumping from buildings,
Uh huh.
uh, shooting themselves,
Right.
those are, I think that was something that to me was a shock.
Right.
You know,
So, okay, a lot of them are males. Kelly said a lot of them are male teenagers struggling with homosexuality.
mm,
That's a. You're gonna make us do another show.
okay,
We're gonna have her on as a guest
yes,
speaker
yes,
right there. Stress and aggressive, yes, yes. Okay, so those are all the things. So let me go back to this narrative. So you see what this is. Now what happened there? Okay, all right. I'm going to say something to y'all real quick. Listen, we got hacked just a minute ago in the YouTube, and it was from uh, the writing was from the red country.
mm,
Okay, so if uh,
be aware.
matter of fact, we need to talk about it. Maybe we can do a prepping thing next week, talking about prep. But anyway, so okay, so that's the Negro population. Let's go to the Hispanic population. All right. So in the Hispanic population, we have theirs is similar to ours. They're only a 7.3, just a point lower than us. And you can see the trajectory is about the same over the last few years. Now, I would say that may be due to blacks and Hispanics being more religious, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just my thoughts and everything. Um,
Yeah.
Martin D say lack of male figures in the home. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here you see the Hispanics have a similar line to ours. Now theirs is a little more flat. They don't have much of a dip like we did the older they got. Okay, so that's a bit of a difference there. But as you can see, they are way less than the national average
Mm-hmm.
on everything. Okay, and the male to female is similar to the blacks and Hispanics, and I believe this is going to be a trend throughout. Women are less likely to commit suicide than men. So then when we go to our
Because of that maternal
yes.
situation. Yeah. The loyalty that mothers feel toward their children.
So when you go to the suicide rates amongst the white population, this is where I go into talking about the narrative. Now, if you go and research and see how many births, how long we've the African American and the Spanish population or the Hispanic population has outbirthed our white counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, because the first thing you may say, oh, it's more them than us, when that's not necessarily the case when you do the math. Okay. So here you can see that the white population is um, they're at 17.5% per 100,000. That's almost that. Well, that's more than twice what the blacks and Hispanics are. Right now, doesn't it seem like that would be
That's
alarming?
double digits. Yeah.
Seem like that would be more alarming. So I'm speaking to the narrative that's being spent here. Okay, there's a spin on it. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yes, of course, we want the suicide rates to go down for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel that there's a spin on these things, and that's why I'm saying don't follow celebrities, my people.
Yeah.
You see these things happening and think, well, you know what? Hey, if they did it and they had a perfect life, like this one YouTuber said that the Miss USA had a perfect life.
Mm.
No, ma'am,
Not so.
not so.
Not so.
So here it is. You're thinking if they had a perfect life, and I'm just here working my 9 to 5. Well, shucks,
Mm-hmm.
what's the use?
Yeah. And
And give in to that
yeah.
spirit of heaviness.
Yeah, and that's the the dilemma of social media, as we all know, right? I
Mhm.
I was talking to a friend on yesterday, and she mentioned the challenge of being a woman who is facing certain things in her relationship, but she's looking online and she's seeing all these wonderful couples that are in bliss, and she says in the back of her head she knows that it's really not like that. However, she still longs for that. And so she even mentioned herself that she has to take, she realized she had to take a break and pull back on certain, social media and
Mhm.
the amount of time that she spends on there. And I think that's true for all, because if we look at, what happened with this new uptick, many of our media, our social media has really grown.
Mhm.
We've got all these different platforms. I mean, you can choose. It's so hard to keep up with what's new. You've got
Mhm.
different games, right? That sometimes I have been told, that actually
Mhm.
glorifies death.
Mhm.
So, at some point we're going to start seeing the effects of these types of, situations.
Hands down. And as you can see, by age, here, the suicide rates are higher than the national average
Across the board.
across the board.
That's
Across
sad.
the board.
Yeah.
45 to 54, right here in this 30-year. But what's interesting is 85 plus.
Mm.
So I just wanted to bring light to these things. So before you go out there and think, yeah, there is a crisis and there is an uptick.
Mm.
There is. And if we do some of these simple things to reach out to our people, we can bring that uptick down, I believe.
Yeah.
If the parents are talking to the children and children talking to the parents, making it a safe place, step out of your authoritative role
Mm-hmm.
and connect
Yeah.
with your child.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
at all ages,
All
because as you can
ages.
see from 5 to 14,
Mm-hmm.
they're still higher than the national average from 5 to 14.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Rodney says in the chat, social media is the ultimate liar. It
Mm-hmm.
can craft any image you want to project. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And he also said most people from single parent homes have low percentage of suicide.
Mm.
Mm,
That's interesting.
that is interesting.
Hmm.
You'll have to shed some light on that for us too, Rodney.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just something for you to for us to consider that um, these things are real. You know, this is real. We've seen it. However, at the same time, don't believe the hype. You got plenty to pray. You know, if you are a praying person, you have
Mm-hmm.
plenty of opportunity to do so.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
and have that impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and and again, we know that, like what we talked about earlier, is that the spiritual side of it, right? The spirit of heaviness. And Isaiah 61:3 says, "To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion,
Mm-hmm.
to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness." This is a real thing, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, that they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of Elohim, that he might be glorified. So this is the spirit of heaviness. We all are feeling the effects of it, but we all can be proactive and be more conscientious and aware of actually the spirit realm,
Mm-hmm.
that we're also up against. And so sometimes we have to realize that it's the inner dialogue. So if we look at suicide, much of suicide is, a person can look just as happy,
Mm-hmm.
they can appear to be fine, they can even tell you that they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
That was what one of the our articles that we had researched, where the father said his son, he would ask him, so how you doing, son? He was like, fine. you know
I'm fine.
I'm fine. And so he was like, okay, well, he's fine. And literally, when he and his wife left to celebrate their anniversary, they got a text from the son saying, "I love you, goodbye." And they panicked, of course, and surely they told the family members at home, "Go find him." And they found him. They found his body. So that is, something that we can't just allow for the simple answers of "I'm fine," but go deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And those of us who are feeling these different things, and the thoughts or what have you, because I think it's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's a battle within. It's a battle within the mind.
Well, one of the things that was mentioned too is your intake. Now we're talking about social media and whatnot, but also your intake in movies and music and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah.
Because one of the things that we've learned since the young man's passing, that he really liked this one genre of cartoon.
Mm.
And this genre of cartoon is from the Orient, I guess I would say. I'm trying not to, but it's from this particular area. And this particular area actually they struggle with suicide like nothing. They have a place called Suicide Forest.
Mm-hmm.
They have a place called Suicide Forest, and they are the producers of this particular genre of cartoon.
Yeah.
So it's something to think about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's it's just what you're saying. It's the intake, and so the intake creates a dialogue within.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is our internal conversations? What is it that we're saying to ourselves? And we have to realize that our words have power, right? We know this, that we have been created by the designer, the master designer, the
Mm-hmm.
king of all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're
Glory.
made in his image. And just as he formed the world with his words, we can form our world with
With our
our
words.
words. And so to realize that we must begin, what is some of the things that we can do? Well, let us leave you with this, that one of the things is being monitoring your self-talk.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're saying to yourself? What is the narrative that you're creating within yourself? And so that we can again be able to address those things and really use the word
Mm-hmm.
to combat the negative self-talk. And
Learn to
then
use.
and then on top of that, but also then we have what's coming at us is are the words that other people are putting on us.
Right.
That's a whole nother battle.
Whole nother battle.
Another battle. A whole nother
Whole nother.
battle. Y'all heard
Which
us.
is why some things I don't put on, everything on Facebook like I used to,
Yeah. Yeah.
because everybody don't love you,
That's right.
and I don't need. Matter of fact, we just had our anniversary, and our anniversary was ours.
Yes.
Can't let y'all in on that one,
Yeah.
right? We might break some policies or something with Facebook. No. Yeah, it's ours. Some things need to be yours, and you don't want to bring everybody into your mix. Especially like when people are sick. Don't tell Facebook that somebody's sick. We had a person who did not have the best interests of one of my family members try to come to the hospital after hours. When they found out on Facebook that they were sick. No.
And they hadn't heard from them in
Please.
what?
Hadn't heard from them in years. All prayers aren't good prayers. Understand?
That is so true. We all know.
Yes.
We all
Word of
can
affirmation
attest.
over your life. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
We got to watch what we say. We got to watch what we say and watch what we say to others, right? Be an encourager. How can I, learn to not take, people for granted, the people in my life, the people in your life. Learn how to really say those three most important words, that one of the three most important words are sets of three most important words that we could say to one another. What is that? What would you say it is?
Well, that was my song back in the day from Stevie Wonder.
What's that?
These three words. I love you.
I love you. And then I also say, I see you.
Yes.
Because sometimes some people just want to know that they are not forgotten. What is Rodney? Where my money?
You said three words, baby.
Oh.
You said three words. You said
okay, I didn't catch that, Rodney. Okay.
So look, Mark and D put a wonderful thing in there about what I'm fine really means.
Ooh.
Frustrated, insecure, neurotic, emotional.
Ooh. Yes, I'm on a highway alert when someone says I'm fine. Yes. That's good, Mark and D. That's good. We gonna steal that. Just want you to know.
Really, like
we're gonna. I'm telling them. Well, I guess that's robbery then.
You with them, and yeah, that's not stealing or being a thief. That's
right. Yeah. But life and death is in the power of the tongue. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Kelly says we need to learn how to listen. Listening is a skill that has to be, honed.
Yeah.
It needs to be honed.
Yeah.
And everything. But listen, y'all, we could be here all night. Actually, y'all were supposed to get because we don't want to keep people late, and when we engage with y'all, it goes.
Yes.
We'd rather be in the chat while y'all watching it and everything. So we try to do them quick. or whatnot, and send you over to the podcast to be able to listen to the entire video. And soon it will be available. The full length videos will be available on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
What's that face, K Spirit? But Mark and D says, I don't know, is this an offer of a t-shirt? You got a t-shirt for us? We sure will wear it.
Oh no, he's talking about, you said you're gonna take that.
Oh,
take
okay. Look, I'm like, you trying to bless me?
Nah,
But yes, so yeah, y'all, we of course know that the rates of suicide are steadily increasing, and mental health is a huge issue across the board. And so again, let us leave you with, make sure that we're checking in with one another.
yes.
um Even when people say that they're fine, are we going to just let that be? Let us go further, right?
Mhm.
And also, what can you do to just stop, and when somebody crosses your mind, send them a text. If you can't call, sometimes, I'm busy, what have you, and I may not have time to call, but I can send a text.
Send a text or send something funny that you just seen,
Send something funny, or send a scripture.
or something you know that they like.
Yes.
Something that you know would make them laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just paying attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Thank you, Mark and D.
yes. So listen, it's been a pleasure. I know this is a little different than what we normally do, but it is all important.
Love you
Love you
guys
back.
too.
Love you back.
Absolutely.
So it's your country boy
And your city girl,
Eric
and Elaine.
of E Square, bidding you
Peace
peace
and multiplied blessings. Later, you
See y'all
guys.
later.